Man, this picture doesn't spell good news for the WNBA. I'm just gonna blow this up here. This does not look good. This does not look good. You can see empty seats all over the place. All over the place. The upper deck is completely, you see these seats up here completely empty. Completely empty up here. Barely any people up here. I mean, it's empty seats all over the place, man.
This is being presented as the exact moment the WNBA officially collapsed. What you are witnessing is not simply a temporary decline in viewership or merely a disappointing weekend of ticket sales. It is being portrayed as a full-scale, devastating financial crisis. The entire league is allegedly falling apart right before our eyes, with reports of empty multi-million-dollar arenas, nervous billionaires, and league executives supposedly facing an unprecedented financial disaster. The front office is described as being in complete panic because fans have allegedly carried out one of the most damaging boycotts in professional sports history. Supporters have drawn a firm line, closed their wallets, and are hitting the WNBA with what many critics describe as a financial nuclear bomb. And, according to this narrative, the most damaging part for the league is that it brought much of this backlash upon itself. For months, devoted fans have reportedly watched what they consider a blatant, toxic campaign of disrespect. They watched as Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White was accused of allowing personal emotions and jealousy to affect her locker room. Critics claimed that Coach White was trying to undermine Caitlin Clark by limiting her opportunities, making questionable tactical decisions, and attempting to reduce the attention surrounding one of basketball's biggest stars. But the controversy allegedly did not stop there. Fans also accused the organization of disrespecting Sophie Cunningham, claiming that her effort was overlooked, her role was reduced, and she was treated as though she did not belong. Supporters reportedly demanded action from the front office and called on WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert to step in, protect the players they believe are attracting major revenue, and address the criticism surrounding coaching decisions. Yet, according to this account, league officials did nothing. They were portrayed as sitting comfortably in their luxury suites, believing they still controlled the situation and assuming fans would continue buying expensive tickets, jerseys, and merchandise without pushing back. In the end, the narrative argues that the league made a massive miscalculation, and now, it is allegedly paying the ultimate price.
To hold 12,000 people. Now, of course, the anonymous faces, they rarely see 12,000 people in the arena. The only time this arena sees a capacity crowd is when anyone other than the anonymous faces are using it. As it turns out, the game last night, it was moved from the local Boys and Girls Club to the T-Mobile Arena, the same arena that is often used by the UFC. Obviously, the WNBA moved the game expecting increased demand for tickets. They assumed that Caitlin Clark fans would travel across the country to see their hero dominate the unrecognizable names and anonymous faces in Las Vegas. According to the WNBA, that is exactly what happened. According to the League of Make-Believe, this game last night was almost sold out, which leads me to reason of confusion number 2. Clearly, this game was nowhere close to being sold out.
Over the last 48 hours, an unprecedented alliance has reportedly emerged. Millions of fiercely loyal Caitlin Clark supporters have joined forces with the dedicated fan base behind Sophie Cunningham, creating what is being described as a powerful united movement. Together, these two massive fan groups are allegedly launching a coordinated, league-wide boycott, and the reported results are drawing intense attention. According to claims circulating online, attendance inside several arenas has fallen dramatically. We are not talking about a 10% decline, or even a 50% drop. The most extreme claims suggest a staggering 95% reduction in fan attendance across the league. If accurate, that would mean only a small fraction of the usual crowd is entering the arenas. Images and videos from some games have fueled the discussion, showing noticeably empty sections throughout large stadiums. Lower bowl seats that were once packed with energetic fans wearing Caitlin Clark jerseys now appear far less crowded, while VIP courtside areas also look unusually quiet. Some arenas have appeared so empty that the atmosphere feels completely different from the packed crowds fans have become accustomed to. Concession workers, security staff, and venue employees have reportedly faced unusually quiet conditions, adding to the perception that something significant may be happening. However, the dramatic 95% attendance figure and claims of total WNBA financial ruin should be treated as unverified unless confirmed by official league attendance data.
This is a bad look. Now, she did show up. You've seen her reunite with Kate Martin. This was good to see. I wish the Indiana Fever would have picked up Kate Martin, but they didn't. Surprise, surprise to who? Caitlyn also did some meeting with the people. She's not gonna let the people down. But even in these videos right here, take a look at this. You're gonna see her signing. Look how empty the arena is behind her. Look at how empty the arena is behind her. All of this stuff is empty. Nobody's coming out no more.
Thank you, Caitlyn. Got a favorite non-song? Doors? American Cars?
Yeah, man, it might be cooked for the Fever, bro. It might be cooked for the Fever. It might be cooked. Look at all these empty seats, man. Now, granted, this before the game, but geez, you seen how it was in the previous slide I showed you. This is wild, man. Way to run off a fan base. Way to ruin the golden goose. Congratulations, idiots. Congratulations. Speaking of idiots, we got to get to what Nate Tibbetts had to say. Nate Tibbetts addressed the flagrant foul situation with Alyssa Thomas. Let's see what he had to say. Nonsense.
I'd like to address the AT situation. First off, the Mercury organization would like to let AT know that
without Caitlin Clark's dedicated supporters purchasing tickets, even at heavily inflated prices, the harsh reality of the league's financial situation is allegedly being exposed. Millions of dollars in ticket revenue are claimed to have disappeared, while merchandise sales inside some arenas are reportedly extremely low. Television ratings, which had recently been celebrated as major successes, are also being portrayed as falling sharply, leading to speculation about concerns among broadcasting partners. Although the WNBA has made significant financial and commercial progress, the claim that its profitability was entirely because of Caitlin Clark is not established fact. The same goes for allegations that Stephanie White deliberately sabotaged her career. Those accusations remain unproven. Still, the message being pushed by frustrated fans is clear. They want Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham treated with respect, and they are threatening to withhold their money when they disagree with the league's decisions. Inside league offices, the situation is being portrayed as chaotic, with ownership groups supposedly studying troubling financial numbers and sponsors demanding answers about their investments. Major brands such as Nike, State Farm, and Gatorade are even mentioned in these claims, although there is no verified evidence here that they have demanded such action. The narrative ultimately blames Stephanie White for the supposed collapse, portraying her coaching decisions and relationship with Caitlin Clark as the central issue. It argues that the league underestimated how strongly fans would react and that failing to satisfy its biggest supporters could create serious financial and reputational consequences.
Horrible, unwatchable basketball. I said last night was in the top 3 hardest games to watch of the season. It was brutal. God dog, last night was boring. In fact, I said last night during the watch party that only the WNBA could have a battle between what's supposed to be 2 of their top 5 biggest stars, Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark. Only in the W could the WNBA figure out how to take a game like that, make it close for most of the game, and it be boring as hell. That's some W shit. That happens a lot in this league. A lot in this league. Vanderbilt Fever. Caitlin White literally got tackled. Stephanie White just sits there with her arms crossed, sniffing and twitching. Congratulations, Stephanie Weatherspoon. Aw, damn. Shout out Teresa Weatherspoon. Whoa. Lethargic performance. That's on the coach. I mean, that's just all there is to it. Stephanie White, rhythm-killing circle the wagons offense. God. Just make one more pass. I dare you. Make one more pass. You all need a new coach, just saying. You simply can't just drive to the hoop every offensive play and let a 7-foot-tall pink-haired lady block all the shots. You know, there really wasn't a lot of adjustment to that, was there? At all.
The pressure on WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has allegedly reached a boiling point, with critics arguing that the league cannot sustain another week of the claimed 95% attendance boycott. The financial math, they say, simply does not add up, operating massive arenas and covering player salaries while ticket and television revenue supposedly decline could create serious challenges for franchise owners. Fans are being portrayed as delivering a final ultimatum to the front office: fire Stephanie White, address the ongoing controversy involving Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, and remove anyone accused of contributing to a toxic locker room environment. According to this narrative, if those demands are ignored, the boycott could become permanent, with fans refusing to return and arenas remaining empty. However, the claims of a 95% boycott, imminent league shutdown, and sponsors threatening to withdraw funding would need reliable evidence before being presented as established facts. The segment ultimately argues that Caitlin Clark holds enormous influence because of her fan base and commercial appeal, even without making public demands herself. Her supporters are portrayed as leading the backlash, while the pressure on league executives and sponsors supposedly continues to intensify. The clock, according to the dramatic narrative, is ticking, and the question now is whether Stephanie White or another major figure will face consequences.
Was invested in the team, and that is the difference between this season and last season. It's also the major problem the WNBA is facing and severely mishandling. There is a war going on right now in the WNBA dump. I can't call it a civil war. A civil war would imply that WNBA fans are at war with the league. This is more like a revolutionary war. Caitlin Clark fans are boycotting the Indiana Felines. This team is struggling to sell tickets at home. What in the hell makes the WNBA think they are going to travel across the country to support the team? This is one of the many problems you deal with when your on-court product is not the draw. I know I keep repeating myself. I know I keep repeating this point, but when your product is substandard, when your product is less entertaining than watching grown men stuff wieners in their mouth on July 4th, and you have one player driving interest, you have one fan base carrying the entirety of your league. I saw an estimate the other day. Caitlin Clark fans are responsible for 25% of the WNBA's revenue. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know. Seems kinda high to me, but either way, when you're a substandard league who is reliant on one fan base, the last thing you need is that fan base to boycott your product. Even if 20% of the Caitlin Clark fan base boycotts the product, boycotts the league, that could have a massive financial impact on the WNBA. If you don't believe me, look at ticket prices. Look at the empty seats. 2 years ago, Caitlin Clark fans were packing arenas on the road and paying almost $200 for tickets. Last night, the average ticket was selling for $17, and they still couldn't sell out. You know, the WNBA has mishandled this situation from the very beginning, even though they've never...
Now, I want to hear from every single one of you watching this video right now. Go absolutely wild in the comments below. Are you participating in what is being described as the historic 95% WNBA fan boycott? Have you stopped purchasing tickets or merchandise to protest what some fans are calling sabotage? And do you believe the billionaire team owners will eventually be forced to step in and make changes involving Stephanie White to stop the growing financial pressure? Let your voice be heard loud and clear in the comments, because the owners, executives, and the entire WNBA community are paying attention to what fans are saying.